Welcome back to the only channel that tells you like it is. Today we're talking about the guards of the NBA. Some are legends, some are frauds, and some are just happy to be playing the NBA. But in 2025, every single one of them still has something left to prove. Enjoy. Starting off with the Atlanta Hawks, Trae Young. Ice Trae, the guy who was once swapped for Luka Doncic. Remember that 2021 playoff run? He cooked the Knicks, sent Ben Simmons into hiding, and looked like the second coming of Tiny Archibald. Since then, not so much. His defense is still a joke, a liability so big you can see it from space, and opponents hunt him down like it's open season. He's still an elite passer, throwing dimes from angles that don't exist, but his efficiency is hot garbage. The question is simple: was 2021 a fluke? He needs to prove he could do more than just put up big empty numbers on a mediocre team and actually lead them somewhere without getting exposed on defense every damn possession. Next up for the Boston Celtics is Jason Tatum. Oh look, it's Mr. Almost MVP. Tatum's got the resume. All NBA first teams, a championship ring, you name it. He's an elite two-way force who can give you 28, 11 and 5 in the playoffs. So what's left to prove? He has to prove he's that guy when the lights are brightest. We've seen him outduel Jimmy Butler, but we've also seen him get shut down by him. We saw Steph Curry take his lunch money in the finals. He still forces bad ISO plays and coughs the ball up in clutch moments. He has to prove he can be the undisputed, no questions asked leader of a title team without those head scratching moments of inefficiency that make you wonder if Jaylen Brown should be taking the last shot. Next up for the Brooklyn Nets is Cam Thomas. Cam Thomas is a professional bucket getter. The man has no conscience, which is great if you need someone to take 25 shots on a Tuesday night in January. He could score 24 a game, sure, but on a team going absolutely nowhere. He's barely sniffed meaningful playoff minutes. He's got to prove he's more than just a volume scorer on a bad team, the modern day Jordan Poole or Lou Williams. Can his scoring actually lead to wins, or is he just the best player on a team that's actively trying to lose? He needs to show he can be efficient, play a lick of defense, and not just be a black hole when the games actually matter. Of the Charlotte Hornets, LaMelo Ball. LaMelo is a walking highlight reel with elite court vision and flashy passes. He puts up monster numbers, 25 points, 7 assists, no problem. While the Hornets are a dumpster fire and the stat pattern label is sticking to him like glue. His biggest challenge? He has to prove he can stay on the court. Injuries have derailed his career and he's played in just 105 games over the last 3 seasons. He needs to prove he can lead a team to something other than the top 5 draft pick and shed the reputation that he's just putting up empty stats on the franchise that might be the worst in the entire league. Now the Chicago Bulls, Kobe White. Kobe White had a nice little breakout, averaging over 20 points a game for the perpetually mediocre Bulls. He's improved steadily, but let's be real, his best stretches came when everyone else on the team was hurt. He's a good scorer, but he's not an elite playmaker or a lockdown defender. He has to prove that he's not just a product of circumstance. Can he be a consistent go-to guy in the playoffs when the team is healthy? Or is he just a good third option who looks great when the top 2 guys are in street clothes? Next up for the Cleveland Cavaliers is Donovan Mitchell. Spider is an absolute killer in the playoffs. The man averages over 28 points a game in the postseason, a certified bucket. But for all his individual brilliance, his teams have only gone out of the first round once. He has to prove he can be the best player on a legitimate contender. His defense is still a problem, and for all of his defensive fireworks, it hasn't translated to deep playoff runs. In Cleveland, he's got the Twin Towers and another all-star guard next to him. The excuses are gone. It's time to prove he can lead a team past the second round and not just be a guy who puts up incredible numbers in the losing effort. For the Dallas Mavericks, Kyrie Irving. Kyrie is one of the most skilled players to ever touch a basketball, full stop. He hit one of the biggest shots in NBA history to win a title in 2016. But ever since he left LeBron, his career has been a circus of locker room drama, off-court nonsense, and playoff flameouts. He's been called a team cancer for a reason. He has to prove he can be a winning player without being the main character. Like, can he just be the clutch shot maker and offensive wizard and leave the drama at home? That's what Dallas is betting on, but unfortunately, they'll have to wait until mid-season or even later before Kyrie recovers from his torn ACL injury. Next we have the Denver Nuggets, Jamal Murray. Playoff Jamal is a real phenomenon. The guy turns into Michael Jordan for stretches in the postseason, with multiple 50-point games and a championship ring to his name. He's a proven clutch performer. So what's left? He has to prove he can be an all-star. It's honestly baffling he's never made an all-star team. He needs to bring that playoff intensity to the regular season consistently. He's a clear co-star with Jokic, but proving he could be a top tier guard year round, not just when the calendar flips to April, is the final step to solidifying his superstar status. For the Detroit Pistons, Cade Cunningham. After being trapped on one of the worst teams in NBA history, Cade Cunningham finally showed everyone why he was the number 1 overall pick. Last season, he put up eye-popping numbers, averaging 26 points, 9 assists and 6 rebounds per game over 70 games. That kind of triple-double caliber production puts him in rare company alongside all-time greats. He even led the Pistons to the playoffs, a feat many doubted was possible given the team's prior struggles. Cade has the size, basketball IQ and skill set to become a top 15 NBA player. However, while his playmaking and court vision are elite, he's not yet a great rim finisher and his defense still needs improvement. The real test for him in 2025 going on to 2026 is proving he can turn those impressive stats and flashes of brilliance into consistent winning and team success. The Pistons are no longer a laughingstock, but to truly move out of the rebuilding phase, Cade must show he can lead Detroit to sustained relevance, and not just be a good stats on a bad team guy. Golden State Warriors Nets and it's Steph Curry. What does the greatest shooter of all time have left to prove? He changed the game, has 4 rings, 2 MVPs, and a Finals MVP. He's a lock for the top 10 all time, but the haters will always find something. They'll say he needed KD, that he's a system player who benefited from Draymond, or that he couldn't win a Finals MVP until his 6th try. At this stage in his career, he has to prove he can still carry a team to contention without his legendary supporting cast at their peak. Can he still be that guy who elevates a good team to greatness? Or is he just gracefully playing out the string of a legendary career? For the Houston Rockets, Amen Thompson. Amen Thompson is a freak athlete. At 6'7" with a 40-inch vertical, he's really one of the best defenders in the league, following just his 2nd year. He's a monster in transition and a great rebounder for a guard, but his jump shot is broken, shooting under 30% from 3. He has to prove he can develop a respectable jumper. Giannis and SGA had similar question marks early in their careers, and they became MVPs. Amen has shown flashes of improved playmaking, but to be a true superstar, he can't just be an athletic marvel who can't shoot. He needs to become a threat in the half court. Next up is the Indiana Pacers, Andrew Nembhard. With Tyrese Halliburton out for the season, the keys to the Pacers offense have been handed to Andrew Nembhard. He's known for his high basketball IQ and solid playmaking, and he's shown up in clutch playoff moments, like hitting a game winner against the Knicks. But his regular season production has been underwhelming, with inconsistent shooting and modest scoring. He has to prove he could be a legitimate starting point guard over an 82-game season. Can he elevate his game from a reliable backup to a guy who can lead a team to the playoffs? We've seen flashes, but now he has to do it consistently. For the Los Angeles Clippers, James Harden. Harden is a former MVP and one of the most prolific scorers in NBA history. His regular season resume is undeniable, but his playoff legacy is a joke. He's been labelled a choker for years, with a long list of postseason flameouts, inefficient shooting nights, and high turnover games when it matters most. He has to prove once and for all that he can be a winning contributor on a championship team. That's it. That's the only thing that matters for your legacy at this point. No more excuses, no more disappearing acts. Next, the Los Angeles Lakers, Luka Doncic. Luka is a basketball genius, a walking triple-double who has been a top 5 player since his 2nd year in the league. He's really on pace to be an all-time great, but he's been criticised for his conditioning and his teams have consistently fallen short in the playoffs. Now, he's reportedly in the best shape of his life, and he's on the Lakers team with championship expectations. He has to prove he can win a title. With Tatum and SGA already getting rings, the pressure is on. Can skinny Luka finally lead the team to the promised land and take the throne as the best player in the world? For the Memphis Grizzlies, Ja Morant. Ja Morant is box office entertainment, an explosive, high-flying athlete who can take over a game with his drives to the rim and incredible playmaking. He's a 2-time All-Star and the face of the Grizzlies. But questions remain about his consistency under playoff pressure, his sometimes shaky decision-making, and an inconsistent 3-point shot. He has to prove he can lead a team to the NBA Finals. He's had some electrifying playoff moments, but he's also had his share of struggles. For him to be considered truly elite, he needs to take that next step and become a consistent, reliable leader deep in the postseason.